is the rose harvest. It just started, you know, the rose here is called the Grasse rose or the Centifolia. And it's also called the May rose because May is the only month when it blooms, and it's the only month when it's harvested. So it's very special. So I'm going to show you just a few photos. And you know, I think this will, hang on. So if I say, okay, can you see this now?
Wow, yes. Beautiful.
So, hang on a minute. Okay, so yeah, actually is one of our posters, and that pictures of the flower fields. That's Villa des Parfums, okay, that you guys have seen, and so.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, hi.
Okay, I somehow muted myself. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This technology. Okay, so these are just some photos of the flower fields, and Centifolia literally means 100 petals or 100 leaves, and it's because this rose has all of these layers and layers and layers of petals, and they're hand-picked every day. And what's really interesting, you can see on this photograph, so you see there's one that's blooming, and then you can see the other buds. And so literally every day they have to go through the fields and hand pick, and literally they put their whole hand over the rose and they turn it and they pull it, and then everybody has to wear like an apron, and they just drop the flowers in. And so they go through the fields, and so you know, if you go and the pickers have been through the fields, and you don't see the flowers because they've gone, but then these buds are blooming the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And so literally every day they pick every flower that's blooming. Wow. And they are taken that very day to the factory where the extraction for the Rose Absolute takes place. So you throughout the whole. And okay, so here's the wee video. So hang on. Hi, so here I am in the rose fields in Grasse. The Rose Centifolia harvest has begun, and we've come to check it out to see our friends who are harvesting right now, and yeah, to smell the roses. Oh my gosh, amazing.
You're so lucky.
I know.
Beautiful.
And so literally the fragrance is just in the air. It's absolutely indescribable, really, how amazing it is. You just smell it everywhere.
And how far is that from your villa? Can you actually smell these roses from your villa as well, or? Well,
not. I mean, we have some growing here, but these fields are close by, but you know, like a 5-minute drive.
Okay.
So, and these fields are owned by a family who have, you know, been doing this for generations, and you know, so they just, you know, as a family, and then they, you know, they have workers who come and help them at certain times, like the harvest is one of the, you know, times. So that's just a wee bit of that. And you know, it's really important to, you know, in our two fragrances, which we'll smell together in a few moments, that in the heart of both of them we have rose. Rose Absolute, and the reason for that is because this Rose Centifolia is such an iconic part of the history of perfume generally, and specifically for Grasse. This rose is really what put Grasse on the map in terms of perfumery, and it has been grown here since the 16th century. And actually in 2018, at the end of 2018, the flower growing here in Grasse was finally recognized by UNESCO. And so Grasse now has World Heritage status. And we joined the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Okay, and so because yes, and because the whole point of UNESCO and it's, you know, preserving the most precious traditions in the world, and so obviously the whole tradition of growing these roses for perfumery and the other flowers here is, you know, is an important part of the culture that you know, we want to protect. And so I think, as I told you before, you know, these roses are all grown organically and really, you know, looked after, literally, you know, hand grown, hand picked, hand cared for.
That's a great shot.
What's that?
That's a great shot. That's a great photo.
Oh yes, thank you. So and so, you know, all of that is part of the inspiration for the fragrances that we created. This whole idea of the, you know, capturing the tradition, the history, the land here. And, you know, the fragrance house that we worked with, that we talked about the last time, I forgot to mention to you before, I think that they are among only French perfumers who are recognized as living heritage companies because of their, you know, rare and ancestral expertise in perfumery. So, you know, all of that history and heritage is a really important part of perfumery in general, but also specifically, you know, what we're doing here and part of our inspiration. And so I've got a few other, this is pictures of the villa. And, you know, this part of the story of our fragrances came from us developing this business, this villa, welcoming tourists and growing a garden that was beautiful and fragrant and appealing to people who were coming on vacation and learning about the plants that grow here and that thrive here, and discovering that, you know, these flowers, it's incredible right now. You know, the jasmine is literally all over our garden and it's just smells incredible. And we have many, this is jasmine here in this picture, but we've got many different types of jasmine. But, you know, all of this is a part of the inspiration. And so these are just all shots of our property at Villa des Parfums. And all of these plants that we've been planting and growing for the last 10 years. You know, obviously citrus is a part of it. We have oranges as well, many different types of flowers. So yeah, and this is, okay, so this was a video that I shared with you already, that you put it on the Facebook page. Yeah. This is just a wander around. Actually, this was probably, took this a month ago, so I actually need to do another walk through, because now all this is jasmine right here, it's completely white. Wow. It's absolutely phenomenal, like the archway as well, it's completely just covered in flowers everywhere. So yeah, and all of these scents, you know, are, this is Photinia here as well, and it smells absolutely incredible in the morning, first thing in the morning, just the, it's remarkable.
What a place to have your morning coffee.
So yes, it's very, very, very inspiring. It's really, really beautiful. And you know, the spring here happens very early, and you know, it's a really, really beautiful season, and everything, you know, is flowering. Now, it's when we have rain in May. And one of the important things about so this is all jasmine here, this is all flowering now. One of the important things about the roses is that the climate here really allows for the roses to suffer quite a lot, okay? Because the conditions are actually harsh. And so, because we hardly ever have rain, and that is actually what makes the roses become the most fragrant. So yeah, and this is the view from the villa.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's really, really an amazing view. So you can see the Mediterranean in the distance.
Wow.
And, you know, all of these colors, these ochre colors are a part of the, you know, the Southern French and Southern Mediterranean, you know, it's what we see. And all of that, again, is just a part of our world here. And I think I told you before about how, you know, Grasse is a water town.
Yes, you did.
So, you know, so there's so much water here, and that's really, really important as well. And so these are just some pictures of the town, you know. So normally at this time of year, there's not only the rose harvest that's happening, but there's also rose festivals in Grasse and also in all of the surrounding villages all around. And so there's, it's a really, really big deal. So everything has obviously been cancelled this year, very sadly, because of, you know, the situation with COVID-19. So normally for about 4 or 5 days at this time, the whole entire town is absolutely covered in roses everywhere. And it's always very, very spectacular. These are just some pictures of the town.
Beautiful. Now the Rose Festival, is that, you know, is it something where they just incorporate roses into everything? Do they have, you know, rose, different foods made with, you know, rose water and things like that as well? I'm sure that's fun, if so.
Yes. And so, and actually, you know, there's roses are very present here in cooking and baking, and you know, you can buy chocolate with rose petals in it, and yes, it's very present. And you know, we have ice cream with rose flavored ice cream, and so, you know, that's just part of, you can find that anytime here in Grasse, but you know, obviously during the Rose Festival, it's all about celebrating the roses. And it's also a competition for rose growers. So, so yeah, it's really interesting.
And
these are, yeah.
I was going to say that's typically in May.
It's in May. Yes,
okay.
Yes, in the middle of May. So yeah, it would have been right now. So this time next year we can do a live with the. So yes. But anyway, you know, yes, with pleasure, of course. So, but you know, I wanted to just give you, you know, some of that, you know, background just visually to see. I'll stop sharing the screen just now. We can talk about the perfume for a moment. Hang on, if I can do that, or maybe I can't do it. I don't know how to do that. Okay, never mind. So, I don't know how to stop the share now, but
let me see.
I can see it. I can see the button, but I can't, my mouse won't let me do anything.
What I can possibly do is I'm going to make it so no one can share a screen, and then that should help, right?
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, only host can share now. So.
Okay, because then you'll be able to see me more.
Nice photo of you anyway. Here, I'm going to spotlight you, and you should get bigger. Hold on. No, you're still small.
Okay, hang on. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe if we do, hold on. We've got a bunch of, hold on, let me get back to the bar. We've got a bunch of Zoom experts here who might be able to help us. Hi.
Okay.
Hold on, now
there should be a red button at the top of Nicole's screen, but it sounds like her mouse won't.
My mouse, yeah. I don't know why. Hang on, maybe if I press escape.
Oh,
okay.
There you go.
Oh, here we go. Right, stop. Here, I can stop the share. And that'll. There we go. Okay, is that better now?
Perfect. Thank you so much for your
better. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna move to actually smelling the perfume together now. Okay. So I would like us to begin with Toujours Espoir, which is the always hope, which is the silver one. So if you ordered the sample, it's this, the silver one, Toujours Espoir. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. And what I would like you to do first of all, okay, is to, we're not going to spray it on our skin first of all. We're going to spray it on paper. So, you know, I have these strips, which if I had thought about it, I could have sent them to you, but I didn't. But you can actually spray it onto the card that the sample is in. So you can spray it on, you know, a little piece of the card, okay? Right. And so what we're going to do, okay, is just take your sample if you have it, and spray it onto your card. And then just wait a wee minute, because, you know, the first blast that you get is obviously just the alcohol, which is, you know, just part of the fragrance. Okay, so we always, whenever we spray, we just wait for just a wee minute before we smell it, so that that blast of alcohol, we're not going to get it right up our nose. Okay, so just wait a minute. Okay, and then we're going to smell on the paper first of all. Okay, and I want to really encourage you, I mean, if you're not you know, just really feeling that you're super knowledgeable about fragrance, I just want to really encourage you that it's just a really, really personal thing. And, you know, scent is something that's very hard to explain. And so, you know, sometimes we just don't know why we love a scent, or we don't like a scent, and we're drawn to people. And scent is so much a part of that, but it's something that, you know, it's so personal. And so when we don't like things, it's okay, right? And so, and also I just want to really encourage you to, any word that you feel connected to this fragrance is important, because it's for you, right? Because every scent is speaking to us and our emotions and our memories in completely unique ways. Okay, and so when you get quiet and you start sniffing, you know, you're going to smell. So right away in the top note in this one, you know, we get the citrus right away. Okay, there's a little pop of citrus. Okay, there's some Italian bergamot in here. Okay, bergamot was like a cross of a lime and a bitter orange. Okay, so it's like a citrusy in the top note. And then there's a real kind of gentle peony that you can smell. Okay.
Now, is the scent changing, you know, with every?
Yes, it's changing all the time. It's changing all of the time. Okay, and there's pink pepper in there. Okay, and the pepper kind of makes a sort of a pop at you. I don't even know how to really describe the word that it makes me feel, but it's a little, that, you know, the pink pepper is a wee bit of a spice in there. Okay, and so, and I really encourage you, you know, like, you know, when you're smelling, write down the words that comes to you, you know, what it is that it makes you feel or remember or think about. And you know, because sometimes we smell things and we can smell something that's not listed in the actual ingredients, but we still smell it because that's what it brings to us, and all of that's okay. So that's so are you feeling is everybody feeling all of those kind of top notes?
Yeah, so I'm gonna unmute you guys, and hopefully there won't be too much background, so everyone can kind of oh, nice group. Hang on. Unmute. How's that?
You didn't do the cheese.
Maybe not. Or here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mute all. Would anyone like to share their, you know, insight, you know, with Nicole? You can unmute yourself if you have. No.
And let's spray it on our skin now. Okay, so you can spray it on the back of your hand. This is always a good place because it's easy to smell, get your nose on, okay? And what we'll do, first of all, the same thing. So when you spray on your hand, just spray it, and we're not going to smell it right away, but you might want to just touch it. And actually, if you put your finger on it and touch it just gently, I want you to feel, you can actually feel the oils, the essential oils in there. It feels oily, okay? So with any fragrance, you know, when you can feel that, that's a sign for you that there's real, you know, there's essential oils in there. That's a sign of the quality of the fragrance. So now we can start to smell this now on our skin. And you'll see that it smells different from the paper strip. Okay, and what's really interesting, you know, if you've got people with you at home in your family, you know, you can spray it on them and smell it on them too, and you'll see that it smells completely different. So, you know, on me, this fragrance, I can really smell, you know, I can smell the peony right away. When I spray this on my husband, what I smell on him, so one of the other things that's in the top note is there's incense. Okay, there's incense, and so between the incense and then there's wood, sandalwood in the base. So on my husband, you know, what comes out is this smoky, almost tobacco-y, you know, feeling that's completely different on his skin, because I guess, you know, he's a man, we have completely different skin, completely different, you know, pH in our skin, and so it smells completely different on him.
Yeah, it's changing already.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so, and then you start to smell, you can come back to the strip and smell. And it evolves, so it continues to evolve on the paper, but it evolves much more on our skin, because all of the molecules are interacting with our bodies, with our skin, with our pH.
And now I remember in our first call with you, you mentioned, don't do this, right?
That's right. Yes.
That
yes.
was a lesson for me, because I always did this.
Yes. So we want to spray it on and then just leave it for a moment, and even leave it for a moment before we smell. And then you're going to start to smell the heart. Okay, so there's jasmine in there. And really the white flowers, there's jasmine, there's gardenia, and then obviously the rose and the heart, which is sweet, slightly honey-ish. The rose has a kind of a honey-ish part to it, which is sweet.
Nicole, can you see the bottom right, the chat? A couple people, Daisy says, I smell a calm summer day. Katerina says, courage. We're all going to Grasse next year, so.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, you know, that's really fantastic, you know, like everything that you're saying, because, you know, a calm summer day, like that's, you know, the jasmine is very, it naturally is a calming scent. So, you know, jasmine alleviates your anxiety, you know, and there's also patchouli in the base note here. There's some patchouli. So in the base, you start to smell some of the wood. There's sandalwood, there's musk and patchouli in the base. And you know, the patchouli has natural healing properties, you know, and so, you know, when we get these kind of feelings of, oh yeah, this makes me feel calm, you know, it's not just because we like the scent, but also because, you know, fragrance has, you know, these properties that impact our mood. Okay, and so, you know, the combination of the citrus, the rose, yeah, so hang on, I'm reading, what else are you saying? The peony is very comforting. Yes, it is. It's very soft. Romance, yes, it's very romantic, definitely. And sweet and citrus, yes, Mediterranean. I feel like I can smell it more on me. Well, okay, so it's true. After one of the question here says, I feel like I can smell it more on me than on the person next to me. Why is that? And again, different scents are going to interact differently on different skins. And so that's why, you know, your fragrance is actually going to be completely unique. So it's obviously there's going to be similarities because it's the same fragrance, but it's going to smell really amazing on some people and different on others. And you know, so like when my husband wears this, it smells like a different fragrance on him than it does on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
After this call, I'm gonna go spray my husband down.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And it's really, really interesting what what it is that comes out on different people. So yeah, so does anybody have any other questions about this one?
I just have one more quick question. So when we were first smelling it, and you know, you're explaining it, all the different scents that you were mentioning, were you mentioning them in like an order that they are coming out, or is it just some people may pick one up before they pick up the other?
Well, so yes, I was mentioning them in the order that I'm smelling them and in the order that they're coming out, because you know, you can still smell the citrus, but what happens is we start to smell more of the rose and the jasmine. And we also start to feel that warm, you know, there's a warmth in the base which is coming from the musk and those warm woods, that's what gives that feeling of comfort, and it's very kind of sensual. I always feel this fragrance is like a skin on skin kind of a feeling. So yeah, so it kind of comes in layers.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. And it's, you know, it's opening up more.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, and if you come back, you can come back and smell the paper again. And you know, it continues to evolve on the paper, but you'll see how different it smells.
Nicole, a quick question: is rose the main ingredient in this perfume?
Well, not the main, but it's one of the main ingredients, and it's part of, you know, it's in the heart. So remember the top, the heart, and the base. The heart notes are the theme of the fragrance, and so this particular fragrance is a floral chypre. Okay, and what we really wanted to do was kind of make a modern version of a rose and jasmine fragrance. So this fragrance is kind of framing the rose and the jasmine as the center of the bouquet, really. But there's just, you know, it's not that there's more rose than other ingredients, but it's the way that the perfume is put together that's what we're wanting to kind of bring.
It's like a chemistry, isn't it? A sort of you're enveloping all the fragrances to get that result. What you do is brilliant.
Absolutely, yes, that's right. And that is the incredible work of the nose, the perfumers who actually do the creation. I mean, it's incredible. Amazing. Yeah.
It's lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what I was going to say about the absolute that you mentioned, you know, I remember interpreting that as, you know, it's like a concentration.
Yes.
That you have an absolute of all those different flowers in one perfume, or just like Anne was asking, you don't have just the absolute of the rose, correct?
No, that's right. No, so there's all different, you know, there's in this particular fragrance, you know, there's many different ingredients, including the absolute of rose, there's absolute of jasmine, there's peony, there's all of these different fragrances, all these different notes that we've talked about, all of these are all in the fragrance.
Okay, so the absolute, it's just like the very concentrated.
The absolute, yes, and so, you know, for different scents, it will be either an absolute or an essential oil.
Okay. And is the absolute typically stronger?
It's how the different raw materials are, the fragrance is extracted differently.
Mm-hmm.
So So for for roses, you can extract the oil, and you can also extract the absolute, and it's different processes, and it's going to give different result, different scents. And so some perfumers will use rose absolute and rose oil. They're going to be using centifolia. They're also going to be using the Damascus rose, because for whatever it is they want to create.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Okay. Shall we move on to the Étoile Céleste?
Anyone else have questions about this one? No? Sure, let's go.
Okay. So let's do the same thing. Let's smell it first of all on the paper, okay? So you can, okay. So yeah, spray a wee bit onto the corner of your card somewhere. I'm going to spray it onto my strip. Okay, so we're going to spray it. Just wait a wee minute. So this fragrance, Étoile Céleste, which means heavenly star. And actually the last time when we talked more about this fragrance because this fragrance is more similar to the Creed fragrance that's mentioned in the Meet Me in Monaco book. Mm-hmm. And so when we smell this one, the first notes to me that I smell that come out are the powder notes. Yeah, it's very powdery, mm-hmm. and we smell that right away. And that, that powdery feeling, for me, is a part of that. I was telling you about the heritage and the history of perfumery, and that powdery feeling kind of harks back to, the vintage, mm-hmm. classic, Hollywood kind of Grace Kelly kind of era. So that powder, there's also just a tiny pop of cinnamon in the top notes, and it's just a tiny little bit of spice. It doesn't smell like cinnamon, but you can just smell that little spiciness in there. And there's also, again, citrus accords here. There's also bergamot in the top notes here. And here we put the jasmine in the top notes. So there's absolute of jasmine in the top as well. So after the powder starts to go, mm-hmm. start to smell the sweetness of the jasmine.
It's lifting a bit, the powder.
So we can do the same thing, okay, if you want. Now that you've smelled it on the paper, is to smell it on your skin. So if you take your other hand and spray a little bit on the back of your hand.
Now, how we were rubbing it before to feel the oil, does that change it as if we were?
Well, so, it was really just for you to kind of feel that oil in there. So, just because I'm helping you to kind of, learn about it. So, we don't really want to be rubbing the fragrance, but just to, if you gently kind of, you can feel that mm-hmm. in there. So, but once you spray it on your skin, just let it settle, let the alcohol evaporate.
This is so much fun, Nicole. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm having fun too. I'm glad, I'm happy.
Oh, it's wonderful. I just, again, all of this, mentally visiting, it just makes me a little frustrated. We can't just go in real life.
I know. Well, yes, we'll be able to travel again for sure.
Yes. And now Sarah is asking, she said, this one smells much stronger. She said I could smell it much quicker. Is that just my nose, or are the scents more concentrated?
So the scents are not more concentrated because it's the same percentage of eau de parfum. So both of our fragrances are eau de parfum with a concentration of 18%, which is a high concentration for a fragrance. Mm-hmm. So they're the same in terms of concentration, but this fragrance is different. And so the notes are different, the raw materials are different. And so it smells different, and it does. The reason why I wanted to start with the Toujours Espoir is because it's a lighter fragrance, and this fragrance is it feels different. For some people it feels heavier or stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good to smell this one second. It's like when you're tasting wine,
I was just
you're going to start probably with a lighter rosé before you're going to taste a heavy red. And yes, there you go. and again, it's actually very similar. Like with fragrance, in the fragrance market generally, a lot of the big designer brands, a lot of the fragrances all smell really similar. And so we're actually not used to smelling a variety of different things. It's kind of like if you only ever drank Merlot,
mm-hmm.
And you didn't know, you'd never, tried a wine, was Zinfandel or, different grapes or from different regions. So what happens is in the beginning, you don't like it because you've never tasted it. You're not used to it. But actually, when a lot of times when you learn to taste things, you start to appreciate them. And it's exactly the same for fragrance. So when we're smelling something that we think, oh, wow, that feels strong or that feels different, a lot of the times it's because it's not something that we're smelling. We're not used to smelling it.
Mm-hmm. Or like little kids eating garlic for the first time.
Well, exactly. Or olives, Yeah.
It'll grow on them. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So you can start to feel the heart notes coming through now. And the heart notes in this fragrance, once that kind of powder, starts to fall back, there's this amazing, so there's violet, and the violet is a sweet, powdery fragrance as well. There's orange blossom.
And I need to get my hands on these actual flowers now to really
smell the different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there's Rose Absolute. There's also geranium, which you might smell because you can actually pick it out. So this one is really a very floral, really quite different from Toujours Espoir.
Mm-hmm. Connie says it reminds her of a warm spring day, and Daisy said this scent seems softer and romantic.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's really interesting, is that every scent, what I said to you at the beginning, it just feels different. It's so completely unique and personal. Mm-hmm. And so some fragrances we're going to smell and we're going to hate it, and somebody else is going to be like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And that's just, normal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but this is, to me, this fragrance, Étoile Céleste, is a really romantic fragrance. It's really, really feminine. To me, when I smell this, I imagine, the most, glamorous, feminine, beautiful women wearing it. And it's also, I really like the kind of, the kind of traditional feel of it as well. Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of formal night on a nice cruise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the kind of thing, it makes me think of like a black velvet and pearls. And because actually, you can probably smell the, to me, it's like a velvety, round, enveloping feeling when I smell this fragrance.
And how much time do you think you should give it on your own skin before, making a concrete decision on how you feel about it? Does it stop changing after an hour? Is it more like, 5 minutes?
Well, it's going to depend on a fragrance. It's going to depend on your skin. And I think also, there are definitely times when you might spray something and think, oh, no. Mm-hmm. But then you might be 10 minutes later, you might be, wow, actually, I love this.
Yeah.
And sometimes the opposite happens too. And so I think that you just really need to go with, oh my gosh, yeah, I love this. Wow. Mm-hmm. I really, really love this, because you know, although it's going to keep changing, it does, you know, obviously it does within, you know, it settles. Because if you come back to the first one, it's settled now. You know, and you're going to be smelling, I mean, both of these fragrances, you're going to be smelling them all day. And even when you feel like you can't smell it anymore, because we sort of get used to scents, and so we don't notice it on ourselves anymore, but other people can smell it, and they last on your skin between 9 and 12 hours for sure.
Very nice. And you know, they're nice, they complement one another well.
They do, they really do. I mean, I feel that they're lovely kind of as a set to have, you know, because you know, they're different, you know, I wear them when I'm feeling in different kinds of moods, you know, depending on the weather or what I'm wearing or where I'm going. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have the options. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions?
Guys, feel free to unmute yourselves. You have a question? Anyone?
Where did you get the names? Wonderful as well. It spells just a very just a big description, if you like. It's a brilliant wording as well.
Yeah, well, the names, I mean, we chose the names after we had worked on and finalized the fragrances, and that's, to me, that's really important, because, you know, the name of the fragrance goes with what the fragrance makes you feel.
Yeah.
And so even, you know, like you'll see that we, you know, so the actual juice of Étoile Céleste is a more golden, darker, deeper color than the Toujours Espoir is a wee bit more, slightly greener, more transparent. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, even as we began to work on, you know, thinking about packaging, you know, we naturally thought of, you know, the gold and the silver, because that went, you know, with the actual fragrances, you know, what they look like, what they smell like, what they feel like. And so for the Étoile Céleste, you know, this is such a luminous fragrance, you know, with those white flowers.
Special occasions.
And and so the names, you know, really we were inspired by the actual fragrances. And also, you know, it's actually really difficult to name a fragrance, because you know, you have to trademark your name. And so absolutely every single good idea that you have has already been thought of by somebody else first, and they've already trademarked it. And so that was a kind of a big shocker to me, because I had kind of thought of names that I really liked, and then I discovered, oh no, we can't call it that. So yes, but I love the names. I mean, we also, you know, we wanted to give them French names because they're French fragrances, even although sometimes I know that people kind of don't know how to pronounce it sometimes, but and then
it makes us feel more sophisticated when we try.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and then you know, one of the things that I did was I made a mood board. You know, I mean, that was part of the process for me of kind of working on the you know, the creative side of the actual packaging and names and all of that, and the logo. And I can tell you, if we still have a wee bit of time, I can tell you a wee bit more about our logo. Mm-hmm. So hang on, you can probably see it better on this here.
Yeah.
And so again, you know, hang on, there we go. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. So the logo, so my husband, he actually drew and designed the logo. And again, it was funny, because we had originally planned to call the brand Parfums de Vie, which is the name of our nonprofit. Okay, right. Which means fragrance of life. And that was what we had planned to call the company. And so that was, you know, one of the first obstacles that we hit after we had designed our logo was we discovered, oh my gosh, we can't call this Parfums de Vie because it was already trademarked. We couldn't do that. So we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Disaster. Because we loved our logo. But then I was like, oh my gosh, but our house, our property, which is a huge part of the inspiration, is called Villa des Parfums. And it's actually the same initials because our logo, so it's actually the initials. Hang on, I need to hold this in a way you can see it. Hang on, I can
see it.
In the box.
So it's the P and the V and the D of both Parfum de Vie and Villa des Parfums.
Perfect.
And actually, you know, I'm really in the end, I was really glad that we decided on Villa des Parfums because I think it's good that they, you know, two separate identities. One is our non-profit, one is our company, the perfume company. But you know, these initials are the same, and the you know, because the whole vision of the company is about giving back to our community, supporting the work of our non-profit, helping these children that we work with every day. And so even, you know, the P and the D intertwined represents our value of helping one another, working together to make a difference. And obviously, you know, it forms the two hearts. So that's a wee bit about our logo and our vision.
Thank you, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. Nice job. Very nice. And Retta just was wanting to know I think you touched on this before, but remind us the time frame from start to finish with these perfumes.
Yeah, 2 years. It took 2 years from the first meeting with the perfumer to actually having the final product in our hands. Took 2 years.
Oh.
And that at the time it seemed like so long and it was so difficult, but actually I have since learned that that's completely normal. And more established perfume companies than us, I mean, we're a very small company, we're very new, we have 2 fragrances, but other perfumers that I know that I've talked to who've got bigger companies have told me that they're working on fragrances that they will launch in 3 years' time.
Wow.
So it's a very long process, and people just know that you know, it just takes time because it's you know, it's like a work of art, and it just takes too much time. And there's you're so many when you make the actual fragrances, you know, you have to live with it, you have to smell it, you have to, you know, and then you do some more work on it, and then you have to live with it and smell it again, and so that goes on for months and months and months and months. So yeah.
So it's not like wine where it has to sit for a certain amount of time, and
well, it does. I mean, once you've actually made your final formulation, yes, then it actually does. It needs to, you know, kind of be for, I can't remember. It's a couple of months before you can actually wear it. So once you're finished, then, because when you do the creation, you make it in very small quantities. And then once you've completely finalized that, then you make it in the larger quantity of however many bottles you're going to make. And then that formula needs to sit, and kind of all the molecules need to come together, and you have to wait. So, I mean, it's not as long as wine, but yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Nicole. And I wanted to ask, when people stay at the villa now, are there any like perfume tours or anything like that yet? Or maybe something you might do in the future? Tours of the fields?
Yes, absolutely. So because we're right here, I mean, one of our we're very proud of the fact that all of our guests who come and stay at our villa, you know, we like to give them a very kind of hand-tailored experience.
Mm-hmm.
So really whatever people need or want, we're available to help them to make those arrangements. And so some people just want to come and do their own thing and don't even want to speak to me, which is fine. But other people, you know, other people for a year ahead of time are asking me to help them set up all kinds of things and experiences here. And so we love to do that for people. And so there's many things that you can do. And actually something that I really recommend, I mean, obviously, is visiting the flower fields, which are close by and you can do very easily. And that, you know, we could take you to visit for sure. And also, you know, you can actually go to Molinar and do the experience that the writers were talking about in the last class.
Yeah.
And that is a really amazing experience. It's just really fantastic, where you actually sit down and work with a perfumer and you do a workshop and you create your own scent. It's amazing.
Fun.
Yes.
Have to do that as soon as we can. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. This has been really, really fun, and I love both of these scents. And you know, I smell the Toujours Espoir. I think of more, you know, like a big event or a nice evening out. And you know, the Étoile Céleste I would just wear daily.
Yeah.
As a nice, it's light enough, and it smells very clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Abby, thank you so much again.
You're so welcome.
Questions for Nicole? All the ladies are thanking you in the bottom corner. Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you. You're so welcome. You know, do you want to see if I can share my screen again? I can show you a wee video of our non-profit. Hang on a minute.
I think I have to give you permission again, remember, because of that whole advanced sharing. Okay.
Okay, so I can show you that. And so do I just click on here? Oh yeah, here we go. So let's do this. Share. Okay, now if I go on.
Photos are so pretty, all of them.
Okay, hang on. So hang on. This is just, wait a minute. If I do this, hang on. Let's just quickly click through this. Okay, this is just some of the images of the photos. Mm-hmm. So my husband does all of the photography. So we're learning about taking photos.
They're very nice.
Yes.
Was he a photographer before as well?
No. I mean, it's just a passion of his, but he's very creative and artistic.
Mm-hmm.
In that, so as I said, you know, he designed our logo and he is super creative. This is the gate, one of the gates at our house. So this was kind of part of the inspiration for our logo and our branding. So yeah, this is our non-profit. So it's a storefront and it's open 7 days a week. And so we're working with kids every day, helping them, you know, learn to read and write and just kind of to develop basic literacy and basic education skills. And okay, this is a wee video here, so hang on. So this is just a kind of a normal day. So, and all of the kids that we work with, you know, are all living in, you know, just really difficult circumstances. A lot of them, their parents, you know, don't speak French, don't read and write French. A lot of them are dealing with just a lot of poverty and a lot of exclusion and just very difficult circumstances. And so, you know, we just help them with education so that they can thrive in school. We give them opportunities to play. So we have kids clubs every day. Well, we have homework club every day. We have kids clubs every Wednesday. We have a youth group every Saturday. And then we take them for camps during the school vacation. And even, you know, and so part of the vision of our company is not just providing resources financially to help these kids, but it's also providing them exposure to, you know, running a company. And so, you know, was me working on the packaging. And so the two girls beside me in black are both kids, you know, from our
Wow.
the meetings that I went to, working with the perfumer, you know, working on the packaging, you know, doing the bottle, everything, you know, we brought kids along with us. And so this is one of the kids, you know, learning to take photos, working on photography. This was me doing a presentation in one of our local perfumeries that sell our fragrance, and I brought along, you know, one of the kids with me to kind of listen. So, you know, it's a really all of these kids I've seen, you know, this whole thing, you know, going from an idea to they've been part of the whole process. And so now, you know, they know that, wow, you know, part of the you know, the funding for our projects, you know, is coming through this company. So it's amazing. And this is just some pictures of the inside of the villa. So yeah, it's very pretty. It's very pretty. Anyway,
Lovely.
So yeah, hang on, I can stop the share. Can I stop the share? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And we, you know, we've left the special offer. If you buy one, you get one 25% off. So, you know, that's still running for the whole of May.
And now I was just wanted to confirm. So is that if you bought one, would you only be able to get the other scent 25% off, or could you get one and then the same?
Okay, so so our offer is you can get one and you can get the other one with 25% off. However, if you would like to get two of the same, I'm sure I can make a code and send it to you specially, so you can do that, because I would love to do. If there's anybody who wanted two of the same, I could do that too. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. This has really, really been interesting. I mean, you know, had it not been for this book, I wouldn't have even been thinking, you know, about any of this right now. So it's so fun how just, you know, I found this beautiful book cover that took place on the French Riviera, and how it's, you know, we've ended up here. So this has been really nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the opportunity to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're all enjoying the fragrances, and, you know, don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you've got any questions or.
Yeah, you guys all know you can find Nicole through Facebook, or if anyone needs her email, I can give that to you as well. She's really great at responding and always very helpful and informative. So thank you again.
And our calendar has completely opened up for 2020 for the villa.
Already?
So it's completely.
Now it's okay.
So it's open. So, you know, once travel happens again, you know, get in touch with me, because we're fully booked, but right now we're available. So.
Absolutely. And I saw that, you know, Europe, I think they're shortly, or at least Italy, I read, is going to start opening borders to other parts of Europe or the UK. I don't think the US is part of that first opening, but we'll get there.
Yes, we will get there. Things are going to, you know, keep moving. So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, can't wait to visit.
Yes, look forward to having you.
Thank you so much. This has really been great. Okay, so we'll be in touch soon. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Bye, girls. Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
Yeah.